On this episode,
we have somewhere a whistle.
Yeah, the bit of backside.
We're just entering the fabulous Clanderboy estate, which is the home of our friend Lindy Duffin.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course we did.
On the spot?
Really?
Yes.
Really.
This is Paisley.
What was the sitting like with Mr. Paisley?
Brilliant idea, you see.
Oh, fantastic.
You sit here painting with all the light you need. Don't you adore it?
My name is Jeremy Norman. I'm the principal owner of Soho Gyms. And before that, I started the world-famous Heaven nightclub.
I'm Derek Frost, and professionally I used to be an interior designer.
I met Derek when he was 25 and I was 29. We've been together ever since. I heard on the radio someone saying that spring travels up through Britain at the pace of a walking man. And I thought that was an intensely romantic notion.
every summer, Derek and Jeremy charter Killarney, an 80-foot, twin-screw diesel motor yacht. Usually, they cruise the Mediterranean. This journey will be different. They'll start at the tip of England, the Isles of Scilly. From there, they'll go up the Bristol Channel to South Wales. And from South Wales, up the coast of Wales, across the Irish Sea to Northern Ireland. Then, up the coast of Northern Ireland, right to the very top, to Rathlin Island, and then across to the Mull of Kintyre in Scotland. They'll then proceed up the Inner Hebrides to Ullapool, taking in all the famous islands, and then from Ullapool, across the treacherous Minch to the Outer Hebrides, and from there on to St Kilda, hopefully, if they make it. Last time, they sailed from the Isle of Man.
What's that boat there?
It looks like a crane barge.
Yeah. What does he want us to do?
Use your radio!
On the way, they came perilously close to disaster, but eventually arrived safe and sound in Northern Ireland.
Well, the plan is, obviously we'll leave here on the low water slack, which is at 13:32, and we'll cruise up round back into Belfast Lock to Bangor. So we've got to change our plan. We were originally going to anchor at Bangor for the evening, weren't we?
I see.
And but with the northeasterlies, there's absolutely no protection anywhere in the Belfast Loch here. So what we plan tentatively to do is obviously pick yourselves up there and then continue cruising up the coast to Rathlin Island. So we'll be getting in there nice and slack tides, and we can go into Chapel Bay here, we can drop the anchor there, and we'll be nicely protected from the east and northeast winds.
Well, that's great, because I wanted to spend a day on Rathlin Island, so I'm going to get my wish, which is fantastic, because there's a lot of bird life to see there, and it's an interesting island from the point of view of natural history.
Jeremy arranges for the Rib to meet them in Scotland. The existing tender is too small.
Right. I think that, what do I think? I think that might be a good idea, actually, if we pick the Rib up at True. Lovely, thanks very much, take care, love you lots, bye-bye. So we're coming across picking someone up in Campbelltown. Then we're going to cruise all this area.
Yeah, this is a nice, beautiful.
The Rib is coming up to True, which is, of course, is very close to Prestwick Airport.
Right.
So he can fly up to Prestwick Airport, simply get a taxi to True, and then take the Rib and meet us at Loch Gilpin, which is the beginning of the Crinan Canal, which takes us through to Jura, which is the beginning of our Hebridean trip.
Tim Taylor and his girlfriend Jessica Yao have joined Killarney for this leg of the trip.
Okay, Jessica, I'm now going to demonstrate how to put on a life jacket. You put your head through the only hole there is to put your head. So if you put it over your head, like so, then you take this strap around your waist.
The life jacket seems to be sticking out a bit. What's all that about?
Take that round your waist. It's important to go through this loop here, and then fastened by simply pushing in and clipping there, and to tighten, pull on this line here. And round here, a whistle to attract attention.
I don't think Jessica needs a whistle to attract
Yeah?
Yeah, the bit of backside. Let's stick your bum in this direction a bit. That's better.
That's better. saying to each other that it's, that we can sort of see objectively how people can sort of find it attractive, but it's absolutely cold.
With Jessica at the helm, Derek and Jeremy head off in the tender for an adventure of their own. After renting a car in Bangor, Derek and Jeremy drive north.
We've just seen a common grey heron feeding in a river. The common or grey heron used to be, apart from the very rare bittern, the only member of the heron family in the British Isles. But recently it's been joined by the little egret. And the egret came over originally as a summer visitor and has now stayed to breed here, and has really become quite common in the south of England, and it's a very good indicator of global warming. We're just entering the fabulous Clandeboy estate, which is the home of our friend Lindy Dufferin, and she not only is chatelaine of this very large and remarkable estate. Lindy has done so much to the estate in the 20 years since she was widowed from her husband Sheridan, who was the last Marquess of Dufferin and Arbour. She's also an artist, and a very fine artist.
Lindy paints under her maiden name, Lindy Guinness.
And we're coming to look at her work.
Look at it.
And look at the castle in the distance.
Wow.
You see my dog and my cow, but not the horse above,
Yes, yeah. All four of them we admired and looked at.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of course we did.
Oh,
I mean, this
that's
one
sweet.
we put our nose really on.
And that was when I was very under the influence of Martin Mooney. On the spot.
Really?
Yes.
Really. And I mean,
In a huge hurricane of winds and rain. I mean, it was a very passionate period of painting.
right. I mean, it looks.
Early, I kind of think you were sort of would be doing when you came with me on the.
I long to come with you. I'm going to come with you.
You've got to do it, haven't you?
I mean, it's such an amazing opportunity.
Lindy takes them to see the gallery she has created to showcase Irish painters, past and present. They learn more about the artists on show from Dickon, the gallery curator.
And Dickon, what do you specifically want to do here at Clandeboy with the pictures that you're curating, as it were? Do you have a...
Different things. I think the two things we both agree on, that we want to sort of try and show the better artists here who don't necessarily exhibit here. A lot of the better artists here show in London, show in Dublin, show in New York, and bring through newer artists and give them a sort of good platform.
But what's thrilling about this gallery is it is young people who don't get a chance, A, to see very good painting, and secondly, to have someone to talk to who
really knows?
knows what they're talking about and he loves painting with a passion.
Lindy takes them through to her private studio.
And this is where I live all the time.
Okay.
No, these are the ones. No, this is where I've just been painting. This is Paisley. You
Yes,
see.
absolutely.
What was the sitting like with Mr. Paisley? How was
It's
it?
very difficult. What's really amusing is the tide. You see, so where it
Yeah.
says no. It's only been for one sitting. We've got another 4 to do.
And did he commission the painting? Or did you...
He asked me to do it.
So that's...
He said, you tell everybody you've had Mr. Paisley sitting for you still. And he kept explaining this, of course moving the whole time,
Yes, yes, yes.
while he explained it.
So he wasn't sitting still.
Oh, no, he's the worst sitter you've ever seen. It was absolutely terrifying suddenly having him there, you know, by the way. I've been painting sort of from photographs and things, and then I suddenly got him. These are all just recent. I mean, I've been painting these just this minute, but I think I think it's caught him to a certain extent.
Well, somebody said to me the other day, and I'd never really thought about it before, that the one thing that goes on growing throughout your life are your ears. Look at the size of his ears.
He's got enormous
Enormous ears. But you've got him absolutely, the mouth, the sort of slightly hard mouth, and the sort of sternness of his face you captured very, very well.
I wish I could do the accent. We need Sean Rafferty.
Oh, we need Sean here.
Can you do it? No, he said. And he'd sort of move his hands every 5 minutes. So when you went to try and draw them, of course he was moving them all the time. So he was hopeless. On the other hand, this is the man who does all the wood here and looks after the house. And this is the old gamekeeper.
Right.
Yeah. He came, because I got them all to come and practice when I knew Mr. Paisley was coming.
Right.
They all came and had to sit for me. And I rather like that actually.
I think that's nice.
Oh, talk about hands. I mean, his hands are fantastic.
Massive.
Fantastic hands.
I think I'm getting a damned hand at doing portraits. I mean, I'd never done them before.
I think they're great.
But it's a lovely thing to do, isn't it? Sit with someone, or is it too
Well, I'll
frightening?
tell you something, it's a bit to try. It's not easy. It's quite fun. I rather love this of Lola. That I painted of my, the curator here.
Lovely, and
I was rather proud of that. I mean, I'm a new girl to portraits,
Well, you're...
What I'm not a new girl at is drawing these. See, in here. Yeah, now you see these.
Well, that's Mr. Paisley there. in the
That's
drawing.
Paisley, you see, a real Mr. Paisley, which is what he actually looks like.
Right.
You see, which in a way is very different. Yeah.
That's very interesting.
And that's your boy.
See, those, and I rather like, see those, I mean, these I rather love. This is this boy again who sits for me. And that was a very, very old lady who came and sat for me. That's the mother of my agent.
They're great. Amazing. Amazing.
This is this extraordinary man who's coming today for tea. And he sat for me. And he is Paisley's physician and Mayor of Belfast.
Really?
But he's not as interesting as these blind drawings. But he came, I think these are more interesting. In some ways I like drawing better than paint, because I haven't really, I mean, this was a book of Greek drawings I did. I haven't got my spectacles on, so I can't quite see.
Lovely. Oh, look, that's great. And they're fantastically powerful. I think they're wonderful drawings.
We have a little box. You have to buy a little box. You see, and what's such heaven? You have a little box like that. And then we have a canvas, either that way or this way, whichever we want. I sit down and then I just start working on the spot, sitting on the floor among all the cows, which is what you're going to see.
Right.
Basically, I paint 2 or 3 hours a day and will do small paintings.
Is it the best fun you have painting?
What an interesting point. Sometimes it's a disaster.
Right.
Because it can make you very lonely. Because you see, the point is, for instance, you're here now. Had I really been serious about painting, I would have lied to you both and said, I'm not here. Because how would I have ever got a morning's work?
Yeah. Well, it's very generous.
No, I don't mean that. No, that's not the point I'm making. Because I would have done that. But actually, you would have missed out a huge amount. This is the only thing, and I'm beginning to change my whole mind about painting. Because actually, I'm never going to make it as a famous painter, which is what I was hoping to do 25 years ago. Now I realise there's no hope. I've been painting for 20 years, 40 years, 45 years, and actually nobody really worries about my painting. All they want to do is they want to come and see Clandeboy or have a party in London, or they're very pleased to see me. I mean, they don't mind, Now I've suddenly thought, well, okay, if that's the case, now I'm just going to do it entirely for myself, but I'm going to enjoy life, normal life, because the trouble with being a full-time painter or full-time writer, I think, is you close yourself off, and you close yourself off, and you close yourself. And unless you're a complete genius, you sort of stall. And you can get very depressed, actually. And then we're going to look at the studio, and then we're going to have lunch.
Right.
I just want to show you the most extraordinary thing. Here are the photographs, which are hysterical actually. This is the two they're going to use for publicity, right?
This is for your yogurt.
This is a little painting, which we then use. Now they're making 180,000 versions of this.
To go in your yogurt pots.
It's going on top. You see here all the yogurt pots.
Fantastic.
You see?
Isn't that great?
And we're launching, when we go up at 2 o'clock, you'll go up to this thing. So now this little painting, which I just did, is now reproduced 200,000-300,000 times. And it's very weird because it's a painting that could have been in, I mean, I've got hundreds of little paintings. I mean, look, I mean, they're everywhere. And it's suddenly become unbelievably important.
That's fantastic.
You can understand then why they were attracted to it, because it's so immediate. What do you think? This is Lindy. I love it.
With my berry.
It's great.
It's artist at work.
What it's so charming is just an old garage that was on the estate. It's a brilliant idea, you see, because come in.
Oh, fantastic.
You see, and then what you do is you just close whichever ones you want. And when the weather's bad, you know, it's raining or something like that, you sit here painting with all the light you need. Don't you adore it? And it moves with the cows.
Wonderful, wonderful. And do you actually come and paint in here quite a bit?
Gorgeous. It's looking that it isn't, because I've just had it painted and restored for the summer.
Right.
But very much so. I've painted 100. Well, look.
And is this the prize herd?
This is the great famous herd.
And you said it was the finest herd in the United Kingdom.
That's right. It's beaten Wales, Scotland, the whole of the UK, and Ireland. And we've won the top herd for the United Kingdom, which is unbelievable.
This is the Holstein herd.
The Holstein, the black and white ones.
Right.
And the brown ones, Jerseys. They're also frightfully good.
Fantastic. Congratulations. What an achievement. I mean, it's a wonderful,
it's an amazing
wonderful achievement. Yeah.
The milk from the prize-winning herd is used to produce Clanderboy's own range of yogurt and ice cream.
This is me and Mark and the famous cow. Mm-hmm. And then up here's the famous cow again. Right. And then you see, if you want to, you can come in here now, people can buy their yogurt. See, there's the yogurt.
And your painting.
See, there's the painting.
Well, we better buy some yogurt pots.
And then this is, do you see?
Yes.
And that's the other painting.
Well, you can do with some nice yogurt on board. Now, where's the honesty pots? Let's buy a few things of yogurt.
We're going to quickly go up to the head cowman and he's going to show you the prize animal, which is being all washed and cleaned and everything ready for the show tomorrow.
Right.
The thing about a great cow is, number one, it has to all be straight lines and angles. So the first thing you look at this cow is you see that she's got the most wonderful straight back. The other thing you're looking for is, in order for a cow to be able to produce vast quantities of milk, she has to have a very broad body across this way, because after all she's producing 67 litres of milk a day. What you want is an angle at a V going down. So if you see from here down to there, you'll see that it's going at an angle. And if, for instance, the udder was hanging down very low, then that's not a great cow. But what she's got fantastic muscles holding up this huge udder in underneath here and then underneath the tail of the cow. So this cow is incredibly important because all her proportions as a cow are perfectly interwoven.
Later, Jeremy spots a familiar portrait.
I don't think I've ever told you this story, Lindy, but I had a sort of aunt, she wasn't really an aunt, called Magda Butel. And Magda lived in Belgravia, and I used to often go around and see her because I was very fond of her. And she was a great friend of Sheridan's mother. And she had on her piano an exact portrait like that of Sheridan And I'm talking about when I was maybe 18 or 19. And I remember looking at that portrait and thinking, what a gorgeously handsome man. I wonder who he is. I never sort of dared to ask. And it was only later that I realised it was Sheridan. So I've seen that portrait. Isn't that a nice story?
And you've never seen that portrait,
I've never
have
seen
you?
that before.
So it was an actual photograph of this portrait.
It was a photograph of that portrait.
Isn't that fantastic? That's so
Road,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't
So
that
I
nice?
knew
That's so
Sheridan.
nice.
Later, at Bangor Marina, the weak spring sunlight dances on the water and plays on the polished topsides of the boats. Jeremy chats with Kevin Baird, the assistant manager of the marina.
We have a small colony of black guillemots here at Bangor Marina. We try to encourage boat owners not to disturb them. We've set up a number of nesting boxes along the central pier here, and we also try to encourage their breeding through putting up nesting boxes as well. We also ring them.
And you say the oldest one is about 20 years old?
That's right, 20 years old.
These little birds have many endearing qualities, not least of which is that they move around in loving pairs. Killarney is anchored outside the marina. The seas are too rough for Captain Tim to launch the tender, so the harbour master kindly arranges for a local boatman to ferry them out. Back on board, Derek and Jessica tease the crew.
Okay, boys, I think you all need a bit of advice, okay, about how to deal properly with a young lady, okay?
Oh, yes.
And particularly this one here, okay, because he's just got married, okay? And he's having a bit of time sorting things, you know, he needs a bit of advice on how to sort things out and kind of what a young lady likes, you know? Tell us what a young lady really likes.
Lot of sex.
Lots of sex.
That's very important.
Is that important?
Lot of sex.
What, that's
So you have
With
to make
different
sure
women or?
With young women. I have to be there. You have to share everything.
Are those your walking shoes?
Yeah.
You think they're suitable for walking?
Yeah, for me,
I
yeah.
think they're perfect.
Perfect.
Well, they're sort of, do you
The
call those,
collar, we need a bit of,
do you call those country shoes?
yeah. That's
Country.
my country. shoes.
Yeah, perfect. I think they're absolutely superb. Huh?
Dusk sees them heading out on choppy water towards Rathlin Island, which is located just off the northernmost tip of Ireland. As the sun sets, they are once again chasing spring. Next time on Chasing Spring.
We're on the west tip of Rathlin Island on a beautiful day, and we're looking at a stack made of basalt rock, which is a hard volcanic rock, and on it are nesting thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of seabirds. The place is alive with them.
They'll head back across the Irish Sea to the Mull of Kintyre.
Lucky the wind is with the tide, so.
On the way, they'll encounter the roughest seas to date.